So to put it plainly, it can be said that what we call him indicates how we see him, and consequently reflects our direct relationship with him, which to me is similar per se to our relationship with those all around us, whom we, based on how we see and what we know, call them either mom, dad, Mr., Mrs., sir, ma'am, or thief. Now, after rambling on and on about what others were saying, in my spiritual imagination, Jesus, after having heard enough, held their feet to the fire, figuratively speaking, by asking them point blank, "But whom say ye that I am?" And the remarkable thing about the disciples' response, y'all, was that there wasn't one. Especially from those who, I believe, were initially chatting it up nonstop about what the psalm had to say. For in my spiritual imagination, they went silent when they were put on the spot. But how could they be found at a loss for words is a question that I found myself asking. And it was given to me that maybe their hesitancy, like with many of us, was due, in my opinion, to the fear of being labeled or found out to be one of them that believes. For this kind of exposure could be devastating to one's reputation and could lead to us being ostracized, criticized, or rejected by those whom we know and are respected by, like our family members, co-workers, and or friends. Plus, it had already been said by the Pharisees in John 9:22 that anyone who acknowledged that Jesus was the Christ would be put out of the synagogue. Or maybe their hesitancy was due in part to the fact that they, like some of us, found his teachings too hard to accept or too restrictive, which placed crazy limitations on certain lifestyles or ways of living that impacted not only on a person doing their own thing, but also on them living the way they want, which is exactly what happened, Jacoby, to those disciples seen in John 6:60-67, who actually left Jesus because of their earthly ties and materialistic priorities. Or maybe I thought to myself, their loss for words, to keep it 100, to keep it real, was due to them thinking, as with some of us, that ignorance is bliss. Meaning that by not acknowledging him, we would not be held accountable or judged for our sins and or scandalous behaviors, Pastor Rick. Nevertheless, with the question still on the floor, Simon Peter spoke up, and in Matthew 16:16, he answered him and said that thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God.